He who thinks half-heartedly will not believe in God, but he who really thinks has to believe in God. Right on or way off?
I'm going to go right on that.
Okay.
I mean, God, how many times did God say in the scriptures and Jesus and gets reiterated that the first commandment is love the Lord thy God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to say you should be all in. And if you're all in, then God's going to reveal himself to you. There's a John, is it John 3:14 or something, or John? I can't remember what it is.
Jeremiah 27:11.
Oh, okay.
No, it'd be 29:11, but nonetheless.
Right. Yeah.
That's why I gave him 27.
I know.
So Jesus in the garden, he's talking to the disciples. One of my favorite parts of the Bible, those 3-4 chapters in John.
Okay.
Because Jesus is getting ready to go to the cross. You think he's imparting probably his most important stuff.
Right.
And he says, if you love me, you will obey my commands.
Mm-hmm.
And my Father and I will reveal myself to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so be all in.
Yep.
And then love God because he's done so much for you.
Yeah.
And out of that relationship, then he's going to reveal himself to you. And you're going to be much better off.
Yeah.
And those around you too.
Yeah. And it'll make sense to you.
Yeah.
Your brain is engaged. Chris, right on, way off.
Hit me again with it. I mean, I know that I'm looking for a little tweak word in there because when I got you guys a couple weeks ago, I'm waiting for payback.
All right.
Okay.
So I want to hear it one more time. I'm listening for where's the catch?
All right. He who thinks half-heartedly will not believe in God, but he who really thinks has to believe in God. Right on, way off.
Is there another option, like a middle option?
No,
like,
there is
hey,
not. See, we've been going to those middle options and caveats way too many times.
No lukewarm option?
Nope.
One time you told me, Chris, is like you have to be right on or way off, but
Yeah.
you can use a caveat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Caveat.
No more
Caveat.
caveats. Not today.
No caveat?
Not today. No caveats.
Okay.
Oh, well then, okay.
It's-
I'm right on. Very good. Who was that a quote by, Emilee?
What's your caveat? What's your caveat?
I believe that the spirit uses more than just the mind.
True.
I believe that our thoughts can betray us.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that the reality of our conscience is something that, is much more deeper. It's like mind, body, and soul, our conscience. And so the mind works with our spirit and our heart and those kinds of things. So to say that a non-thinking man can't, see the spirit, a non-thinking man can't be jarred out of his slumber. He has to become a thinking man to really understand the gospel. No, the gospel's so simple and it's so alive and it's so available to everybody. And the word of God, the inspired word of God, our final authority on earth, can be the unleashed tiger on the soul and can break through to so many unthinking people. And yet the question is, does it break through while they're in their unthinking state, or does the breakthrough create a thinking state? I don't know. So I'm going to go way off and say,
Good summary at the end.
All right. That's very interesting.
Bad sound effect.
Okay. So do you want to know who the quote is by?
I'm going to say it's by, actually, I know who the quote is by, so I can't participate.
You're going to recuse yourself?
I'm recusing myself because she sent me a text yesterday to ask this to you and Russ Miller if she
If
wasn't going to be here.
be
So
there,
I now know who it is.
Interesting.
So
so
I'm thinking, to kind of try to game the system, right? The quotes are usually from a theologian or something. So of course you're right on.
But this one's
now
not
it's
a
like-
theologian.
it's
I
not,
don't think
so
this is a theologian.
Is it like from Satan?
I tell you what. No.
Because then I got to be way off.
who said
No.
it? Who
Listen.
said it?
Listen, I will give you a couple hints.
Uh-huh.
It's a scientist,
Uh-huh.
wouldn't you say? Em?
Absolutely. That's
Okay.
what he was.
Okay,
Yeah.
it could have been more.
Kind of a thinker.
I'm not an expert
Yeah.
on this dude. And it starts, his title, his like identification in history starts with the word sir.
Sir Isaac Newton.
There you go.
good.
Now, Sir
Yeah.
Isaac Newton was very much a Christian.
I know,
Very
very
much.
much.
Very
But that's
much.
wid you not see why I said, are you calling him a scientist? Get it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Well, see, you have to be right on with this guy because he's Sir Isaac Newton. But secondly,
and then it hit me.
I think one of the misconceptions is that faith is a thoughtless, mindless, just believing whatever. And it isn't. It's very logical. It's very methodical. We listen to what God has to say. We see what he's done and we say, okay, well, he said he'd do this and then he did that. And so when he says this, I'm going to believe him. It's rational is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so I don't think he was necessarily saying what you were alluding to, Chris, while I do agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
God can reach even a non-thinking person.
Yeah. I was just being devil's advocate, trying to pull a sliver out of the flesh.
I have a feeling Mr. Newton's going to want to sit down with you.
Well, look,
we're going to get that chance in heaven. I can't wait to meet the guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was doing a Bible study when he, developed that famous fig cookie. But that recipe that comes out of the ancient days, the Fig Newton, is really, really impressive.
Yeah,
remember the dance
where
the Fig Newton was on one foot with his other leg kicked up? Remember the big Fig Newton? Remember?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't remember.
Someone out there watching the show right now
remembers it.
Knows what I'm talking about.
I bet it's on YouTube somewhere.
It is.
I remember being in a cafe with a bunch of guys one time, and that's when this one dude laid it on us all that Fig Newtons are named after a town in Massachusetts, not named after Sir Isaac Newton. And I was devastated.
Shattered delusions.
Who in modern day would put figs in a cookie and sell it to children?
Okay.
We need processed sugar is what we need.
Kind of brilliant when you think about it.
Talk about non-thinking people here.
Yeah, I know.
But no.
Why do you think I felt like God could break through?
It's really interesting when you look at some of the Christians of the past. They were some of the most brilliant thinkers. And acknowledged that the presence of God is real. It has to be if you think it through. So don't let someone tell you that your faith is just a mindless, blind faith. It's not.
No.
It's a rational, logical, intelligent. And if you think it through, if you really think it through, you're going to arrive at truth.
This has been a sample of No Apology with Emilee and Chris. For full episodes and other content, go to our website, freshroadmedia.com. And thank you for sharing and subscribing.